Shell has investments in many sources of energy, as all the major oil companies do. Biofuels, wind. But for a company of Shell's size, the question, an important question, is which of them will be workable businesses on a significant scale? Because if it isn't a significant scale, it can't have a significant effect on the business. Which ones look most promising from that perspective?
You're absolutely right. What is key to us is to be able to differentiate ourselves and to be able to make an impact. And that goes immediately to your point around attaining scale and being able to leverage our specific and differentiated skills and competences. The first area I'd point to would be, say, gas. So out of all our peers, we are the one that is most focused on developing our gas business. We're very close to being equal balance, 50-50, in terms of our oil and our gas production. And we would see our gas business over the coming decades grow. We have always been a leader in the gas arena, and we feel that it is one of the sources that perhaps needs to be focused more on, given the fact that it provides a lower carbon alternative to many of the other fuels, particularly coal, that are being used in the generation or for the generation of electricity. So we're very big on gas, and ensuring that we continue to retain a lead in that space. And if you look 10, 20, 30 years forward, then I would say that we would still be leading in gas, and that probably would be our most significant business in that respect. Moving over, biofuels, you mentioned it, is very important for us. We made recently a very significant investment in a joint venture in Brazil, looking at sugarcane-based ethanol. And that makes us one of the biggest distributors and producers of biofuels. And it's our view that biofuels is one of the alternatives to be looked at in terms of mobility, as a lower carbon alternative to fossil fuels, and one where we can reach scale quite quickly. So it comes back to your point around scale. This is an area where we feel we can differentiate, get to scale quickly, and in that way help the world deal with the carbon issue.
On that issue of ethanol, of course, in the United States, ethanol has never been economical without government subsidies. You think that it can be economical without government subsidies, I gather. What's the big outlook, the long-term outlook for that working out?
Well, it's certainly something where we feel at present, if you look at sugarcane ethanol and investments we've made, you can produce it economically. And if you look further afield, then over time we can see that being economical in Europe, being economical in North America, even without the incentives. Now, of course, there is an interaction there with overall energy prices. Right. But the energy prices we see going forward, we think biofuels will be an economic, viable alternative. Right. What we would say, however, is and we can substantiate in some of the work we've done recently to say that it takes a number of decades for any energy source and carrier to reach scale. And some of the work we've done shows that it takes about 30 years for any new energy source to attain 1% market share. And that's been the case for gas. In that sense, been the case for LNG within the basket of gas carriers. It's been the case for nuclear. It's been the case for biofuels. It's been the case for wind. It's more than 30 years ago that the first big wind farms were built in Denmark and USA, I think it was. And of course today, wind only has a couple of percentage points of market share globally in the energy mix. So we would say that traditional and historical trends show that it just takes time for technologies to attain scale, be economic and be accepted by users globally and throughout.